Hi, everybody. Welcome to Thursday Night Live. I'm your host, Dr. Rita Louise, and thank you all for tuning into the show tonight. So, interesting topic tonight. I mean, to me, how's that? So, I don't know about you, but I would love for you to spend a second and just kind of check in with where you are. And I'm going to say now, and I don't necessarily mean like in this very second, but where your energy's been, where your emotional space has been, how you felt. And at this point in time, for about a week. Because one of the things that I noticed, and there's actually been several people who have noticed this, is that there has been a big shift in energy on the planet. And I hate to say that it was tied to the election, but I'm going to say it was tied to the election. I have notes. I should look at them. Okay. But I'm wondering if you feel like you can finally breathe again, or maybe you're sleeping better, or you're not walking around like a zombie. I know for me, the last couple of weeks, it's like I would sleep, but I would get up and just be like, okay, I'm doing something. I don't really know what I'm doing, but it's something. And I just would push myself forward to get stuff done, to achieve things. Because if I really had my choice, I would just be laying in front of the TV set, not moving. And again, this all shifted after the election. And where it becomes interesting is that this shift was not just in the United States, but there was a global shift that happened. And with this shift, I feel like many people are left, I'm going to say, with a sense of hope. And that might be kind of a big word to use right now. I know if you come to the show regular, there's been a lot of readings that have come up where it's like people want to move forward, but they're kind of in this holding pattern and not really moving forward, or not feeling comfortable about moving forward, or are getting mad at themselves because life isn't moving forward. And I will assume and bet that lack of movement has finally started to shift, and things are starting to have some level of forward momentum. I'm not feeling like, it went from like 0 to 60, but I feel like there is movement and things are starting to pick up and ramp up. But also with that, there's like a sense of ease that the world's not going to come to an end tomorrow, and that things will be okay, whether you agree with it or not. I mean, for me, I think I would like to say I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. And that, just being able to see that light leaves you with the sense of hope that you are going somewhere, and at some point in time, you're going to come out the other end, and it can't be too far away because you can see the light. Um, another way of looking at this or introspecting this is that maybe you feel like you can finally relax and put down your guard. Um, and I talked about this at the time, not on this show. Well, I might have talked about it on this show, but when we were going through COVID, there was this sense of fear. Fear, the emotion of fear was running rampant. I mean, just rampant. And as human beings, one of the things that we're able to do is so project our emotional energy out into the world and also receive the emotional energy of other people. And that's how many psychic people work, is they're able to better receive and translate the energy that someone projects. And when COVID was happening, it was fear, 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 fear. Am I going to die? Am I going to die? Am I going to die? Oh my God, I'm going to die. And it was terrible. And if you're an empath or sensitive to anything going on, it was overwhelming fear. And so from a kind of technical point of view, when we're in fear, it causes our first chakra, the chakra at the base of our spine, where our grounding cord, which we worked with last week, is connected to, will shut down to this little teeny thing, and nothing moves. And everything gets caught in our body and we feel stuck. And that energy, that fear just floats around our body and we can't let it go because there's no place and no room to let it go. And that sense of fear, that uptightness, even from COVID, even though the fear isn't overt like it was, has never released, we've never resolved it. I feel like many people experience trauma from having gone through it, and haven't fully recovered themselves and their sense of trust and safety. With what was going on recently, and again, I'm going to tie it to the election because it shifted the day after the election. There was a sense of uncertainty and waiting and not knowing, and some fear. There's always a certain amount of fear that comes with uncertainty. But if I was going to give it with COVID, it was fear, period. The word I want to tie to it is uncertainty, which makes it so that it's less tangible, it's less graspable. It's not something that is an overt feeling like fear. And so it made it a little bit hard to separate and segregate out. But uncertainty, because there is a fear aspect to it, also shuts down that first chakra, makes it so that your body is not grounded, you're unable to release and unable to be in the present moment. It leaves us stuck in our head and causes us to have a hard time finding ourselves. So where we're going, as a country, as a nation, as the whole world, I don't know. I know that in this moment, I feel better. Again, people that I've talked to, they've noticed this shift and are feeling better. Maybe not perfect, but better. And better is always better than not better. And again, there have been a lot of people that have commented on this shift. But I also want to make the statement that the shift is not just what's going on in the United States. The impact is being felt all around the world, because if there is trauma and anxiety happening in another country, we can pick that up as well. It doesn't just mean here, although we are in closer proximity to, the people here. So anyway, so that's my thing for today, the shift. And did you notice it? And so if you notice the shift, I would love for you to make a comment down below. But as always, this show is brought to you by soulhealer.com, which is my website where you can reach out to me to schedule a private consultation. You know, the readings that I do during this live stream are just little baby sessions. And so if you have questions or concerns that you need specific answers for, please do reach out to me and we can set up a time. Okay. If you are watching this show on Facebook or you're watching the show afterwards on BitChute or Rumble or Twitter or any of those other platforms, and you want to join the fun and get a free on-air reading, please go to my YouTube channel. This is the easiest place to go, which is Just Energy Radio on YouTube. That's Just Energy Radio. At 7 o'clock, click that live button. You can also set up where you get to, subscribe to the channel. It will send you notifications when the show is getting ready to start, and you'll never miss a show. Just Energy Radio on YouTube. Also, if you're enjoying what I'm offering or you get a reading in a little while and it really resonates with you, let me do my little thing here. I would love for you to share the love. I've set up a little tip jar. You can go to soulhealer.com/live and maybe leave me a little something. Anyway, so just one last comment before I start saying hi to people. So if you want to, here are the rules of engagement. So if you would like for me to interact with you, I would appreciate it if you would type your chat thing, your thing in all caps, because that will flag me that it's something that you would like for me to read. So if you would like a reading, all you need to do is like, I would like a reading, or Dr. Rita, you have great hair, but can I have a reading? And then pick a number from 1 to 3, and that's how many times I'll shuffle. But again, if you want to communicate with me, please do it in all caps so that I know that you're not talking about wine preferences or, the dog or something, and I'm not reading that on air. Okay. All righty. So let me go up to the top here, and let's say, I'm just going to say hi. And when somebody says they want a reading, I'm just going to stop there and I will go on. I do not pass anybody. Intentionally. So it does take me some time to make it through the list. All right. So Master Player, hey, good evening. Nice to see you. And Don. Okay. So I'm going to rat you out, Don. So Don was here even before the show started and he put that request in, which I don't think is fair, but he did it, but it's in all caps. So I have to give him props for that. It's in all caps. So Don, I do love you for that. And I do love you anyway, but I had to kind of give you shit. Because I can. All righty. And you would like a 2. All right. All righty. Good card, Don. So let's see. So Don, this is interesting, and I think it's really great, but I feel like, and I don't know what the God, I cannot talk today. What precipitated this, but I feel like you have kind of pulled your energy back and are in this little cocoon right now and are remaking yourself, reformatting yourself. I feel like it's really positive. I feel like given time, you will shed off an old layer of you that's not working for you anymore, which could be a level of fear. It could be a level of beliefs. I mean, there's a lot of things that we can just let it go so that our more authentic self can step forward. But again, you're in this chrysalis place right now, and that's okay. And so if things aren't moving forward, I was talking about moving forward just a minute ago. So if things aren't moving forward at the speed you want, it's because you are transforming, at least on some level. Good job, Don. All right, I'm glad that you were number 1. All right, RLCC, hi. Okay, Lori. Hi, Lori. Would like a reading, and I don't really answer specific questions anymore. If you have specific questions that you need my insights from, please go to my website, soulhealer.com, and schedule a private consultation. And I'm going to give you a 2 also, Lori, since you didn't specify. All right, so that's the card that came up. So when these cards come up, these are called masked cards. And they usually indicate to me that there's an energy that's stuck or something that you don't really want to look at, something like that. And I usually will pull cards till I feel that it clears. And Lori, I'm giving you this as a clearing card. And so what they're wanting me to say to you is breathe. I feel like, you made the comment that you have some kind of health thing going on, and I'm not going to get into the health thing. I'm just going to talk about you, that it's kind of, you're being a little obsessive about it. And the intrusive thoughts that are coming with it are not helping anything. You can't, so it's interesting. And I didn't even know how like this would fit in. So like there's the pregnant woman. And so usually that means that there's something like in my mind that's being nurtured. But for you, it's the commentary I got was you can't make a baby happen. It takes time. It takes so many months for the baby to gestate and for it to get to the place where it's going to be delivered. And so what you're working on and what you're going through needs to unwind, and you can't make it go any faster. And so getting upset that it's not moving at your speed is just not helping anything. I hope that makes sense. And maybe take some of the pressure off that you've been feeling. Okay, so let's see. Dawn, hi, RLC Caps, and howdy to you. Thank you, Dawn. And then Yvonne says hi, and Drusilla, hey Drusilla, good evening. All right, and Yvonne wants reading number 3. So Yvonne, I'm looking a little bit ahead. So did you notice the shift as well? I mean, it was kind of shocking to me that, one day I can barely even get out of bed. I mean, I would go work on the house because that's what I do. And then like that Thursday or that Friday, I'm like up doing this and that and this and that, and just kind of like going around like a crazy woman with energy that I have not had in at least a month. I want to say 2 months. So that was really good. It was good. All righty. So Yvonne, here's your card for today. All right. So Yvonne, the impression that I'm getting is that something happened, and I'm going to say to you, maybe around you, that kind of left you in like a oh shit kind of place. And a little bit freaking out about it. And you, like, like Lori, they're suggesting that you just sit with it a little bit. I feel like once you let the emotional energy drain out of it, that you will be able to unwind it and move forward. But in this moment, because there's so much that's triggered, that you're not able to hear your heart. You're not able to listen to your soul. You're not accessing this information. So if you can give it 24 hours, because I'm not feeling it's going to take you that long to kind of process through the emotional energy, some breathing, maybe some tapping, do that grounding meditation that we did last week, or you can go to my website, soulhealer.com, and in the search thing, type grounding, and it'll bring up a similar grounding meditation that's recorded. Yeah. And so anyway, but if what I'm sharing with you makes sense, I would just really appreciate the feedback. Hi, Nancy. Nice to see you. Yeah, we already got Lori Handle. Full Moon Tom. Don said one word, empty. All right, not sure what that means, Don. Dave Perry. Hey, Dave Perry. You sure can have a reading. Let's see. The cards say, wow, you just been thinking about going by Dr. Rita's house because you haven't in a really long time. And I painted final paint in her room today. I'm so excited. Thus, my hands hurt a little bit. All right. Okay, Dave. Man, Dave, what do you got going on? Ooh, double. So you got two of these mask cards. So I'll repeat that again. So these usually indicate where there's energy that's stuck or blocked or you don't want to look at it. So you not only had one, you had two. So you're double whammy. So that means it's really stuck. There's a decision that needs to be made. There's some toxic thinking. There's some fantasy. We're going to go with this card here. So there's all this stuff kind of in the way. But that's going to be your clearing card. Ooh, interesting. Okay, so I get the impression that there has been something on your mind that you have been going back and forth between and not making a decision. Thus, I guess this card is really the issue about you making a decision. And you are going to sit there in that kind of stuck place until you finally buckle down and make a decision. Because I feel like your energy is almost like damned if you do, damned if you don't, and kind of can't get past that. You could always contact me and set up a time and we could work through that. That would be another possibility. But I feel like things are not going to move forward and you're not going to be happy or comfortable until you make that decision, even though I know it's a hard choice for you. Okay? All righty. And I took those mask cards and shoved them in the deck. All right. All right. So let's see. So Unar, how are you? Hey there, Rita. Can I have a reading number 2? Okay. Okay, so that's your card for today. I'm not even sure how to describe this energy. I want to say that you've kind of made a breakthrough and have kind of stepped through a veil of your own energy, but that wouldn't even be a correct statement. Actually, the image you keep showing me, and I'm just going to express the image because sometimes when I do that, you understand what I'm talking about because I don't understand what I'm talking about, is as if you are in a giant bubble and you are pressing your face against the edge of the bubble and your face profile is sticking out the edge, so you're getting some clarity from outside the inside of the bubble, but you're still in the bubble. I don't know if that made any sense to you. In my mind, I can see the picture. And they said, so just go ahead and pop the bubble. And you know what? I'm just going to leave that there. So I am hoping that makes sense to you. And if it does, if it becomes kind of like an imagery for what is going on with you, please say something below. Please. Okay. So, Carolyn, I'm guessing that you did not feel the shift, and that's fine too. You know, some people feel things more than other people, and it's not. There's not a judgment thing, you know. But some people, you know, some people are more visual, some people are more feeling, some people are more auditory, and you know, it tends to be the feelers that notice weird shifts in energy. So, Veronica, how's it going? All right, and then Lori says, got booted from a class I've participated in for 4 years based off one comment. Have a sense the world will be okay and glad over JFK being assigned. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Okay. Marco says, Rita, can I message your fab? Well, I think you mean mess my fab hair up. I don't know. It's kind of funky today. And there's Marco right there. Yeah, okay. And Christine would like a reading number 3. Okay, let me get a lozenger because my throat is feeling dry. Maybe. All right. Okay, Christine. Okay, Christine. All right, so that's your card for today. So I'm going to make the assumption that you felt the shift, Christine, because I'm seeing it being reflected in your energy space. What's interesting, though, and the piece I'm going to comment on is that there is a little bit of fear of stepping through that door or making a plan or having hope, for the fear that if I decide to do this, it's going to get shut down, you know, or if I do this, there's going to be a bad outcome. And I just want to say that that part is fear. And it's fear. So, you know, be brave. You have us here to support you in that forward movement. You know, and what's interesting, Christine, is I'm not feeling like the movement is, you know, you want to become an Indy race car driver, you know, when you're 50 years old. You know, I feel like it's a small thing, but I also feel like you have felt not comfortable with the world. And I guess I'm challenging you to take that step. How's that? Okay, ERRT Radio. Hi, ERRT Radio. I'm going to assume, since you're here, that we are also broadcasting on ERRT Radio. And so all of those listeners, hi, how are you doing? Thank you all for tuning into the show. If you would like to join the chat room, you can go to my YouTube page, which is Just Energy Radio on YouTube. So that's 3 words, Just Energy Radio. Click the live button, and that will get you into the chat. All right. All right. Ann Lee would like a reading number 3. Okay, Ann. Well, I just did 3, so I'm just going to cut these for you. All righty. All right, Ann, and that's your card. That's a good card. You know, Anne, I get the impression that you try to be open and optimistic. Again, I also feel like you noticed the shift in the energy. I feel like So you know those plants, and I'm like know really nothing about plants, but that at night the flower closes up, and then in the daytime it will open back up. I'm kind of feeling like that for you, that you've kind of gone through this long, dark night of the soul. And now the sun is starting to shine and that flower is opening up. I feel like you have some hope and that you are more willing to put yourself out there and take some risks. So I feel like you're in a great place. And I feel like, I posted this thing about, you know, we've been through so much the last few years that a portal to another dimension could open up right over there and it wouldn't even phase you, and I feel like that's kind of how your energy is. So enjoy the sun. Veronica says people are optimistic, and I believe that. All right, Veronica would like reading number 3. Okay. Okay. All right, Veronica, and that's your card for today. Veronica, I'm sensing, and I'm going to say a little anger in your space. I just feel like you're just, irritated. I don't even want to say pissed off. It's like the anger, and it's the right word, but not the right word. I'm feeling like, okay, I got a better phrase, that you're just sick and tired. You're just sick and tired of the crap. And I feel like when people are in that energy, that's usually the best time for them to make deep and profound changes, because they don't want to do that anymore. And they tend to be more willing to do something different, be something different, try something different. And, and so that's that angry feeling, is like you're just tired of it and you don't want to do it anymore, and that kind of is an expression of anger, but it's not an unhealthy anger. It's actually a really good anger to have, because anger, even though it's an emotion, it's not a bad emotion. It's just when it gets used too much and overused by people versus using it as, the fire inside that burns out toxic things. And so I feel like you're burning. Where's my lighter? You're burning out something toxic, so that's good. Okay, so Lori said, wow, what are you saying is really clicking for me. Thank you. The shift was real. You are so welcome, Lori. And ERRT Radio says you would like a reading number 2. Thank you. You are so welcome, ERRT Radio. Ooh, do I have to say what that means? I know you know what it means, but let's see. Ooh, not a very good one behind it. Medium one behind it. Okay, I like this one. That's a good one. Okay, so it's okay, Raylan. It's okay. It's okay. Come here. That's Raylan. He says hi. He's very mean. Okay, Raylan, I'm trying to work here. Thank you. Sorry, he kind of got me like a little out of my groove here. ERRT Radio, I kind of get the impression that something triggered you and you're a little bit out of sorts. And I feel like it's kind of irritating you that you're out of sorts because you've really been working on kind of being in the present moment and being more whole and blah, 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 blah. But it happens, and it happens to all of us. And thankfully, when you're working on yourself and working on being more whole, the periods of time that you spend in that kind of irritated place, triggered place, becomes less, and allows you to get back on your path. It just leaves me wondering, okay, if there isn't something that that you are supposed to be doing in order to resolve this situation. So, usually, and whatever that is, but there's hesitancy on your part to say something, to do something, to not do something, to resolve it for yourself. Usually when I'm kind of feeling that energy, there's somebody else involved. So, so maybe ask for the guidance on that. What do I need to do? I think you already have the answer, but you don't really want to do it. And sometimes we got to put our big girl panties on and just freaking do it, even though it might suck. So Dave says he's still depressed over the election. Dave, I'm so not depressed. And I'm so happy that RFK is now in charge of HHS, which makes me really super happy because I like him and I love his health agenda because, I'm a health kind of gal. So, okay, master player would like number 1. Uh-oh, master player, what do you got going on? All right, that's the card that came up for you. It's interesting. Sometimes as we go through these cycles, people go through themes, or we get together and there's a theme going on. So there's been this theme of embracing this shift that's happened and moving into this new energy. But there's also kind of been this theme of, I don't really want to do it anymore. I mean, not like I don't want to live anymore, but more like, okay, so that was then, and this is now, and I don't want to do that anymore. I want to do what feels right to me and feels congruent to me, kind of like what I was talking to Veronica about. And I feel like you're in the same place, master player. I feel like Veronica has more of a cognitive idea. I feel like for you, this I don't want to do it anymore is kind of sitting in the background. So I don't know if you do any journaling or anything like that, but you might want to ask your subconscious, what is it that you don't want to do anymore? And, what is this thing? So that you can be aware of it and then either stop it or change it or find something to replace it or modify it so that it's more congruent to what you want to do and who you are. I hope that helps. So again, if I offer you a reading, I would love for you to give me some feedback. It's Emily. So Emily is my house sister. So she grew up in the house that I live in now, which if you're my Facebook friend, you've all seen the pictures. And but we get along so good, and she's my house sister. Okay, so let's see. I gotta be able to read this. Absolutely agree with everything you have said. I felt that way before the election. Admit I've slept like a baby post-election, not because who won, just the energy of my world around me. I know, and that's why I really try to when I'm feeling weird or upset or something's going on, I always kind of put out feelers to other people to see, is this my deal or are we in a cycle? And as a planet, we are always going through these cycles. And it's just interesting that you think it's just you, and half the time it's not. And I'm looking at the time. So, Emily, there's a big, okay, Emily, I'm just giving you a reading. So, because I don't know if you put it in there for below, but you didn't put a number, but you're just getting one. Ew. All right, so that's the card that came up. All right, let's see. So you're kind of in the, like, I'm not doing it anymore category as well. But your guide, whatever comment was, I'm not taking any prisoners. I feel like you are energized. I feel like you're on a mission. I feel like you have made decisions about who you are and how you want your life to be, and where you're going to go, blah blah blah, but about who you are. And I don't feel like you're going to back down from that. And I feel like with the shift, you're really owning that energy and owning that power. So good girl. Anyway, hope that helps. Hope that makes sense. All right, let's see. Okay, so Veronica, you are not in YouTube, you're in Facebook. And so if you are, if you're in Facebook, you can only see Facebook people. If you're in YouTube, you can only see YouTube people, which is why I've been directing everyone to YouTube, even though it streams on Facebook, and I would love for you to come on Facebook. But if you want to really, because there's a lot more people that come on YouTube, so if you really want to participate in the chat dialogue, Veronica and Marco, then I would go to YouTube. Okay, so I'm assuming, Lori, you're the same Lori that I just did the reading for. So I'm not doing that one. And Caroline would like a reading. Hi, Caroline. Number 2. Okay, and that's your card for today. So it's interesting, Caroline, I feel like this has been an interesting show, very interesting, that there's this that you have felt, and I'm going to put this a little bit in a past tense place, attacked. Joan of Arc came up for me, I'm not saying like in a past life you were Joan of Arc, but just, somebody that was there and stood their ground, and you were attacked for it, or like one of the saints, you were attacked for who you are and what you believed. And even though there would be this little twinge of ouch, I feel like you were able to withstand. I graduated from the Berkeley Psychic Institute, and one of the terms they would use was body of glass, where all of this stuff can happen around you and you can be in such a neutral place that you are a body of glass. And so nothing could really stick to you. You were very mutable and you could get around things because you were glass and kind of like water, and it would just go right through you. And I feel like it's kind of your superpower. And I feel like it's one that you've been working on the last few years. But I feel like you're feeling a little bit of reprieve, and as if the attacking has lessened. So good girl. Okay, so Drusilla says, I have been trying to lose weight. So Drusilla, if you have a specific question you would like to ask me, then I really suggest you schedule a private consultation. I only am really doing these one card readings here, but you can go to my webpage, soulhealer.com, and schedule a time for a private consultation, and we can talk about your weight loss. And Emily says, first time I've joined, and I love this so much. And Emily, I love seeing you here. Oh my God. And it's Mark Eddy. Mark Eddy. Hi, Mark. And so Emily's back, kind of confused about the reading thing. Can you explain it again? You got your reading. Don't worry. I got you covered, girlfriend. But just for everyone's, type in capital letters, I would like a reading. Your hair looks wonderful. Dr. Rita, we love you so much. Like those kind of things. So I would really like you. And then give me a number between 1 and 3. And that's how many times I'm going to shuffle the cards for you and then pick the card. So that's how it goes. All right. So let's see. Mike. Hey, Mike. You may remember I've been dealing with long COVID exhaustion. My recent blood test indicates high iron levels, and I felt its lack of oxygen because I feel better when having windows open at home or driving. I also discovered that Dayquil and NyQuil help my exhaustion, which makes me wonder if it's related to histamine. Okay, so I'm not putting my psychic hat on here. That would totally make sense. And histamines are produced in the liver. I don't know how high iron would have anything to do with lack of oxygen. Having low iron can do with lack of oxygen. So you might want to try, just as a try thing, something like, I want to say Advil, but that, Aleve, one of the Claritin, one of the, kind of over the counter, antihistamine things, the non-drowsy. I mean, Benadryl knocks me out. But trying something like that to see if it makes you feel better. But but if your body is producing histamines, then that is the function of the liver, and so perhaps doing some liver detoxing would be appropriate. All right. Okay, so Brea. Hi, Brea. I think you're a new name here because I can't pronounce it, and you'll probably say I'm not saying it right, but sorry. I'm a little dyslexic, and you're just going to have to go with what I call you and just be like, oh, she don't say my name right. Brea. It's something like that. Anyway, so I am going to do a 2 shuffle for you and pull a card. God, what is with this? There's only 5 of these cards in the deck, and I find it fascinating how many times they come up. All right, so there's that card, then this card, then this card. No, I'm still going. Then there's this card, and I like this one for you. Okay, so what this is telling me is that you have something going on, and there's this much crap in front of it, so you get to a place where it's clearing. And so the first thing that I want to bring up is that I feel like you are not well seated in your body. I feel like your energy is kind of floating around. You're not well grounded. You are really not in the present moment. I get the impression that you do have these periods where you either get into a worry thing or a rumination thing, and you just can't be here now. I am feeling like you doing anything. So the card before it, was kind of talking about nurturing, but I'm feeling like for you, the nurturing really needs to be in the form of doing some kind of a mindful practice, whether it's meditating, whether it's dancing, whether it's singing, whether it's doing yoga, whether it's journaling, whether it's going for a walk in nature, going to the gym, tapping, whatever that practice is to help bring you back into your body. I feel like this is a pretty regular thing. Or you can get my new book, Dang, It Was Me All Along, which talks about how to cultivate happiness through mindful awareness. But for you to become more mindful of where your energy is and learn some techniques to help bring you back to a place of peace and wholeness. So please let me know if that makes sense and if that helps you at all. Ricky, hey Ricky, hi Miss Debbie. Emily says the shift was energetically palpable. Amen. Yvonne says, yeah, it felt lighter than I've been, and hopefully a big difference starting the day after election. I know. Wasn't that just so weird? And actually for me, it was more Thursday because I kind of stayed up most of Tuesday night to Wednesday. Not that Wednesday was bad. Wednesday was actually good, but I was really tired. Dave Perry says, nice to see you. I saw that is great. I know. That's what Hey, Dan. How is it going? Wow. Hey, Dan. Thank you so much for coming to the show today. I'm looking at the clock. Okay, so there's still a lot more to go. I'm going to say if you would like a reading, request one below. I'm not sure I will get to it. So, okay. So Linda from Australia. Hi, Linda from Australia. Thanks for tuning into the show today. Okay, so I'm just going to pull a card for you, and actually I'm going to do a one shuffle for you, since you did ask, and I'm not going to blow you off. Okay, and that's your card. Do I have to read it upside down because you're upside down from me? Anyway, I'm just being funny. Linda, this is interesting, but I just sensed this quietness around you. And there might be all kinds of stuff going on, but I feel like you have gotten to the place where you can just kind of turn it off or turn it down and just be with yourself and be okay. And I'm going to make the assumption, because I went back in time and I feel like that was not always the case. I get the impression that you actually would get a lot of emotional overload, not necessarily from things going on with yourself, but just because you're so sensitive. And so you use these tools to kind of buffer yourself from being the subject to the shifting emotions. And I just want to validate that for you, is that I just sense this state of inner calm in you, which you don't see a lot. So cool. Okay, so Dawn says, thank you so much. What I meant is nothing is happening with me that is really positive. I was just talking to my friend James Ghost Hunter. Okay. Well, Emily, I already did you, so I guess I'm that far behind. Let's see. James, help me get rid of this entity I've had here for the last year and a half. Yay. Well, and maybe that's why you're cocooning, is that you are regrouping who you are without it. So that would be good. Lunar says, thank you. It does make sense to me. I want to pop that bubble for sure. I'm glad that made sense to you, but sometimes I get these images that so when you're doing this kind of work, I mean, for me, I get images. Sometimes I get vocalizations or feelings, but these images, but because they're here, you have to slow the energy down in order to vocalize them. And there's a certain amount of interpretation that needs to happen in order to do that, in order to take the visual and make it auditory. But with what I was seeing with you was like, I don't have a translation, so I am glad it made sense to you. Hair looks pretty good. You always do, Dave. Thanks, Dave. Uh, Unar says, I too felt the shift. It feels strange, a little spooky, in fact. And so, Unar, I have been paying attention to these energy shifts. This one, I will say, this one was dramatic. A lot of the times a shift will take a week or two to happen, to kind of like fade in and build up. This one was kind of like boop. It was sudden and distinct and very noticeable. So for everyone, especially those people that felt the shift, know that you are having a psychic response to what has been going on the planet, the shifting of the energy on the planet. And that's a great thing. Okay, Christine says that makes perfect sense. That's great. Hey, Corey. I think you're a new person here too. Hey, Corey. And I'd love to give you a reading. And thank you for coming to the show. And it will be number 3. Okay. All right. And there's your card for today. And Corey, I think you're going to be my last person because it's getting to be that time. All right. So Corey, let's see. So Corey, I feel like you're letting go of a whole bunch of energy. I feel like there was a lot of, and I want to say energy again, but energy stored in your 3rd chakra, in your stomach area, which is our power place. I feel like you've been using a lot of your energy to kind of project yourself, project your will, project your ideas out into the universe. I feel like you're not having to do that anymore, and you're finally able to take a rest from it. So if you're feeling a little bit tired or, on the downside, it's okay. You're discharging. And you're letting go of a bunch of stuff that you're not using anymore. So enjoy it. Love yourself, nurture yourself, take care of yourself, and it will help it move through faster. Okay. So if you did not get a reading so far today, please come back next week. This hour goes by really fast, and I would love to get to all of you. And so, there's a lot of you here. Oh, and then we have a spammer. Woohoo, and a spammer. Anyway, I am going to get going. But again, if you have a question, outside of this 1-card draw that I'm doing here that you would like to ask me, please do schedule a private consultation. Go to my webpage, soulhealer.com. That's soulhealer.com. And schedule a time for a private consultation with me. If you have been enjoying this show and enjoying the sessions that have been going on or had a really good reading from me, I would really appreciate it if you'd like throw a little something in the tip jar. You can do that by going to soulhealer.com/live. That's soulhealer.com/live. And if you were interested in becoming a medical intuitive counselor, or energy medicine practitioner like me, I offer a training. It's at the AppliedEnergeticsInstitute.com. That's AppliedEnergeticsInstitute.com. And there is a free 50-page Jumpstart Your Intuition guide that you can download on the page. And I would love for you to get it and check it out. Anyway, what a great show today. And I just really appreciate all of you coming and hanging out with me. I just love you guys. Anyway, till next week, I'm Dr. Rita Louise. This is Thursday Night Live. Be blessed.